Everyone, so this is a retrospective video on the pond. I want you to watch this first so that you can actually understand what I wouldn't have done was I to do this project again. As you can see, the fish are in now, the water is clarifying, we've got plants in there, aquatic plants, and I've also put some duckweed. You can see that kind of around the edges. Learnings. So one of the learnings was, do not use a tarpaulin for an underlay. Do not do that. It is not waterproof. It is only water resistant, and it's not worth it. Second learning is, if you can, use a recommended liner. I didn't. I used the thinner one because of this kind of issue we had with the NBN cabling running through here. If you can use the recommended liner, do it. Do not skimp on it. Do not skimp on that if you can help it. The third learning is, for me, because I put 2 layers of liner, I wish I'd actually put 3. And the reason for that being is that the top section of my liner has already got holes in it from all the mortar and the washing and the rocking, and so I'm really relying on this second level of liner as my insurance policy, and that's all I've got. Okay, so don't do that. Not when you put this much work into something. The fourth learning is really around, if you are going to rock like I have here, or like we have, then consider where are you going to place your aquatic plants, okay, for filtration, etc. So think about that when you're rocking it in, and create spaces for those plants to go. Obviously the fifth learning is, when you're making the pond, consider what are you going to do to hide the piping. So that was another thing that I kind of need to, I didn't quite consider that. And yeah, and I think that's about all the learnings I can share. So I hope that's helpful. Do continue to watch the remaining videos on how I built this. I have no experience doing this whatsoever, and I'm very happy with the results, but I would do it differently if I had a chance to go back. Hope the video has been enjoyable, and thank you for watching. So I wanted to build a pond. I have no experience in building a pond. I did do quite a bit of research, but I just basically started with the idea of the pond. We're on a sloping section at this house, and so I wanted to build a pond that was going to suit the environment. And I'll just show you, so this is what you're seeing now is the waterfall here. So the water is going to come down here. You can see we've cut all those steps in. And then we have a section here which is a pane. It says NBN cable and electricity cable. We only discovered this when we started digging the cavity, and so we weren't going to move those services. So we just had to make the most of building the pond around that. So this is the first hole here. It's about 800 deep, so it's quite deep. And the reason why we did it at that depth was because some aquatic plants won't grow well in less than 500. So you want to make sure you've got plenty of room. And by the time you put sand and some pebbles and bits and pieces, you're going to raise the bed. So we just decided to go to 800. Some sections are probably 1 meter deep. Anyway, so you can see here, this is the second section of pond. The water will run over that cable and into that second section. I'll show you, you'll see that later in the videos. And this is us using basically planks and a level here to be able to show people. But basically we were interested in making sure that the level of the walls was what we worked off. We didn't work on the bed of the pond being level. We worked off the walls so that the water would sit in, because it's a sloping section. We want to make sure those walls are level. So that's how we worked it. And so you can see the size of it. It's quite deep. Some people laughed with us and said it was more like a small swimming pool. Yeah, and then obviously this whole section here is going to be rocked, but you'll see that in the later videos as we go through. So this is the first one. I hope you can see how basic a concept we started with, and we decided to work with DIY Megastore as our chosen provider for products. So, and they've been excellent right through the process in terms of advising us, and you'll see the end product at the end. Hope you enjoy watching the series of videos. So this is our pond building. It's the first time we're doing it. We've never done anything like this before. We dug a huge hole, as you can see. We've just lined it now, and unfortunately for us here, we have NBN and electricity cable coming right through the middle of the pond, which is problematic in some ways. But look, what we're going to do is we're using this tarpaulin as an underlay. Okay, so we're not using the traditional pond underlay, but we're going to use this tarp, and then we've got two layers of pond liner which we've purchased. We've gone for two just to be extra safe, and then of course we've got this tarp, so we should have absolutely no leaks. So this is stage one. So we've just now put the underlay in, if you want to call it that, and we're going to cut it back, and over here, as you can see, we've got a stepped waterfall that's coming in, so we will put a separate underlay in for the stepped waterfall. Step two, so the tarp is our underlay, and now we've put in 2 lots of liner, as you can see here. We've chose to use this liner just because the thicker liner is not going to work well for us given the NBN cable and just given the shape of the pond. So that's why we've chosen to use a thinner liner and double line it. We've decided to work with DIY Megastore, who we're making this video for, just as a thank you really for the assistance that they've given us. They've given us good advice, and we've purchased all of our core equipment, you know, pond filter, pump, and then of course we've purchased a diffuser. But look, I'll show you all of that as we go. But they've been great to deal with, and we thank you for that, given that we have no experience doing this. Hey everyone, so this is part 3. As you can see here, we're starting to rock everything in. So we're making our own mortar. This is my collaborator John, and we're actually rocking everything in now. So we've decided to do that, and it's a bit of work in that. So over here we've got our sand, so 5 parts sand, 1 part hydrated lime, 1 part cement, and then obviously water. Mix it up in the barrow and chuck it into a bucket in there, and then rock it up, bring the rocks down, and away we go. Everyone, so we're progressing. This is video number 4. As you can see, we're rocking everything up here. The purpose of this was so that we don't see the liner. Okay, that's the whole idea of doing this. A bit of work involved, and a fair bit of materials involved as well, in terms of the cost of the rocks and the mortar and mixing it, and you know, all the rest of that we're doing here. Yeah, show you the results as we go. We're going to be building that rock wall right up to that face there, right up to there, and then also of course all along these ledges, right into rocking all of this up here, and then we're going to rock right up to here, and then all through here is going to be crazy paved, but I'll show you that as we go. So this is acid washing, okay? So you can see that there, that's what happens. Now you want to make sure when you're doing this, okay, you're fully suited up. Now I'm not wearing a mask at the moment, but I've got one right here, you can probably see. Okay, so don't do this willy-nilly. You're going to be in big trouble if you do. Go careful and wear a mask. Acid wash. Okay, slowly and steady. Get all the crap off the stone. Alright, and then basically we're going to wash with pressure cleaning. Alright, and really get that beautiful clarity that we're looking for in the stone. You can see it coming off there, it's just gorgeous. So we're at the plumbing stage now. So we've obviously got, we're using the Pond Max PU 7500. So it's 7,500 litres an hour. That's what it pumps. So we've got that assembled here. Obviously I've still got to do another wash here, so it's not going to be sitting on the ground like that. They say to raise it up. Obviously we've then got the pipe work that then connects into the filter. Okay, so as you can see here, the diagrams are very obvious, but I'll just explain it. This is indicating the pump here. Where you see the fish, that means that outlet is going up to the waterfall, And then here where it's showing you flowers and that indicates that is the back wash, and that's when you're cleaning the filter, that backwashes into the garden. Alright, so just give you a heads up, like we've basically got the pipe work coming up here, and then obviously it taps into the diffuser. Hey everyone, so I just want to show you this because we came up against a little bit of challenging with some of the tubing. If the tubing is cold, then and you try and put it into some of these fittings like down here, then what we'll find was the end of the pipe was splitting a little bit and there was a small leak. So what we're doing now, just to show you here, is we're putting the tubing in hot water, and rather than the heat gun, because that might be a bit intense, so we'll just put the tubing in there for a few minutes, and it really softens up the tubing, which allows us to be able to put it onto these fittings a lot easier. So I hope that's a helpful bit of advice. Okay, so we're at the testing phase. So the most important thing was, we obviously haven't finished here, so we've just been testing the connections and making sure there's no leaks. And now after we used the hot water method to soften the pipe didn't split. So that was a really good learning for us, and also more importantly, no leaks. You don't want any leaks in your pipes, because I tell you what, it's only going to increase the leak over time. So you want to make sure they're absolutely clear. So this is pretty much now, I'm just starting to fill the water in here. Can you believe it? It's been a long project getting this one done, but really happy with it so far. So to give you an idea, we've acid washed this again. Now I've just got we've put river sand in, oh sorry, not river sand, we'll just put sand in, and then we've put pebbles in now. So, and that's the rock where the pump will sit, which I've just taken out for a moment, just because I'll vacuum up some of this dirty water, so I don't want it going through the filter. So yeah, this is really, and now all the lights are in as well, so you can see that. And eventually the way I've got it is I've got the cascading up towards the trees, which looks really beautiful at night. I'll show you a night shot of where we're at with this. So basically all the pipe work and all that is covered by the mulch, but all that is under the mulch, and that's leading to the diffuser just over there, as you know. And so in a very short period of time we're going to start the pump and get the whole thing working. So I'll show you that as we go. So I just want to show you the lights really as a final finish. I haven't necessarily, perfectly positioned them, but you can see I'm trying to make the most of the foliage of the trees as a way to create something interesting. There is one light on the waterfall. So this is the night view of the pond. When I look at this, I really go, yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it. So really happy with that. Hope you enjoy the. You can see the beautiful colours of the trees. We might change colour, but that'll come with time. So if you're thinking of doing a pond, DIY International, good company to deal with, been very helpful, and I bought all my equipment from them, and it's been a great project, albeit I'm happy that it's come to an end. Alright, so we've got to basically run this for a whole week. So yeah, this is the pond functioning, the final finish really. This has really been a fantastic project. So yeah, we're basically got to run the water for, you can see it's, even here it's reasonably clear, but we've got to run it for a week before we put the fish in, and the fish are just here waiting. And yeah, really happy with the results. It's been absolutely magic, and I'll just got to get a skimmer or a little net to skim off these leaves, so I'll go and buy that now. But yeah, great result. Hope you enjoyed the videos, and hope you're inspired to do your project. And certainly DIY International have been great to deal with, so enjoy.